Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What is going on? I don't know what the clap was. It's sort of like a, I'm impressed you came back. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A for you guys, which I was supposed to put up a while back, but just an update on me at the moment. I have finished university and gotten my master's degree in physiotherapy. In America, that's like physical therapy, and I'm currently starting full-time work. That's going to be another interesting thing to deal with. Unbalanced skating, but we'll see how we go. Now I just want to say the last time I put up a Q&A video was when I had around 500 subscribers, and now that number has more than quintupled, actually more than sextupled to 3,500 of you guys, which is awesome. So we're gonna get stuck into it soon, but before I do, for the 3,000 of you beautiful people that I haven't met yet, welcome to Imon on Ice. I am Imon. Welcome to my channel. And I hope you enjoy your stay and probably get something to like eat or drink, because I'm going to be talking for a long time. Probably a really long time. So stock up on the snacks, it makes things easier. Also guys, if you didn't know, I have an Instagram. My handle is PhysioFigureSkater. I post updates on there a lot more frequently than I post on YouTube, just because it's easier to make Instagram videos. Nice and short. Don't require too much editing and all that, but go on there and follow me if you would like more frequent updates. Okay, let's begin. So first question. Now I'm gonna read some of these off my phone and some of these off the computer. So if you see my arm doing weird stuff over here, it's because I actually have a mouse. I'm not a weirdo for the most part. Lena Sophie asked, how old are you? I am 23 years old at the moment. Directioners94 asked, at what age did you start skating? I started skating at 21 years old. Toy Flowers from Instagram and Jojo80 from YouTube, also, they had pretty similar questions, so I decided to sort of put them together. Toy Flowers asked, what motivates you to keep skating? I've seen a lot of people quit around the 1 year mark. And Jojo80 said, I had one private lesson today, and I feel like, how am I ever gonna feel comfortable enough on the ice to do anything impressive? Did you feel like that at all? Sometimes like you've not progressed. I'll be honest, there are days where I really wonder, not so much about why I'm still skating, but more like, damn, like, is this all you've got? Is this as far as you're gonna go in this sport? And I really feel like I've plateaued. I'd be lying if I said that I'm always motivated to skate. I, unfortunately, do not like giving up. In a non-sadistic way, when I feel myself questioning my ability to skate and the decision to continue skating, I keep reminding myself that nothing gives easy and easy gives nothing. So if I'm struggling, it means that I'm getting closer to achieving what I want to. And I also think of it as, yeah, we all have bad skates, but if you have a bad skate, you're one skate closer to a good skate. So when you feel like you're not progressing, in my opinion, I feel like that's the time that you should keep chipping away and working hard, because things might just come together soon. Emma Hallahan from Instagram said, asked, proudest moment of your journey so far. This is a hard one, because I still think the day that I learned to do forward crossovers and how to skate backwards, those are still huge achievements for me. But recently I started the axle, which is a really tough jump, because you sort of, for the first time, you're throwing yourself into the unknown. My third lesson on the axle, this is before I ever tried the full rotation on or off ice, you know, and I never had a harness. And my coach said, why don't we just try the full rotation? And I was like, bruh. But I did it, and I fell 10 times, 20 times. Every single attempt, I fell hard. And it was a busy public skate, and I fell in front of so many people so many times. Towards the end of the lesson, I took a pretty big fall, like a pretty hard fall, and it was surprising because it was physically difficult for me to get back onto my feet, and I actually had to kneel on the ice for a while because I just couldn't, I had no strength. Somehow I managed to get back up and stand, and I gave it a couple of more tries. I still fell on all of them, but I got up. The fact that I didn't give up, that was a pretty proud moment for me. Sophia Ham Almanza asked, how flexible are you? I think the only way to explain to you how flexible I am is to just show you. That's right, it's training montage time. So there you go. I am not flexible in the tiniest degree, really, but I'm working on it. Zenea asked, how often do you sharpen your skates or get new ones? My skate tech always says that I should sharpen them every 12 to 20 hours of skating, and I think that's recommended for like most people. But let's be honest, okay? How many of us skaters actually sharpen our skates the amount we're required to? Spoiler alert, none. I changed out of my previous skates after 1.5 years of wearing them, so my Jackson Mystiques, and I've had my current skates, Resport RF3 Pros, for a year. How much you change your skate depends on your level, your progression, and sort of your body growth, really. Tumba 2, I like that, asked a few questions. So how old am I? 23. Did I mostly do private lessons? No, at this point, I've done more group lessons than I have private. Lisa Henderson asked, how long did you use the Mystiques for? 1.5 years. And did they speed up your progress? Absolutely. They sped up my progress like crazy. I felt a lot safer on the ice because I had more control. If you look at my old skates video and my Japan vlog, where I actually skate in rentals, you'll see that it is difficult for a skater of any level, high or low, to even put on rental skates and get onto the ice. Like, they are evil. Madulin asked, do you prefer pair or single skating or just ice dancing, and why? I can't choose between the three. I love them all. I love aspects of every single one. I think I watch singles more often just because that's all I've known, and I know the skate is better and the elements are a little bit more familiar to me. Pair skating is the most metal ever. The landing height that the women have to deal with is insane. Ice dance is the most beautiful and fun one. I love their ability to control their edges and just the performance that they put on. I feel like each discipline could learn a lot from each other. Audrey and Rebecca Williams have said, I want to start skating, but I'm scared for being in a class with little kids. And Rebecca said, I want to start, but I can't imagine being in a class full of little kids that are way better than me. I started in a class full of kids better than me. I guess private lessons and adult classes, if they are offered where you are, would be a way to avoid that, but I understand that these can be very expensive. I just want you guys to remember that you've bought the ice time too. And you, just like any other kid there, at no matter what level they are, deserve to skate there. Sometimes it's a little mean, but I like to take solace in the things that I can do that the kids can't do. And this doesn't have to be skating related, okay? Yeah, maybe I can't do an axel like that 6-year-old over there, but can that 6-year-old do their bills and pay their taxes? Didn't think so. Anyway, if you're there to skate for you, then skate for you. Screw the people around you. Their success and failure shouldn't define your success and failure. So, go out there. One day you'll be above those kids. At least in height. Demi Store asked, can an overweight person like me start ice skating if combined with exercise? Babe, absolutely. Anyone can start, regardless of their age, their weight, or any other characteristic. I'm really passionate about this because I'm a firm believer that we need to challenge stereotypes, particularly in elite sports where the age of the demographic is very, very young. There are plenty of beautiful plus-size skaters out there, and I admire them and I look up to them. If you go out there and you follow your desire to skate simply because you want to, you might just end up inspiring a lot of men and women out there who might be asking the same question as you. So 100% babe, go out there, live your best life. Do it. Hardest part of being an adult skater, not just that our bones hurt more, we have less time. There are lots of parts. the hard parts to being an adult figure skater. Money, bills, balancing other commitments.
Trying not to get injured so you can keep working and keeping working so you can fund everything else and also have money to skate and pay for fuel to get to the rink and whatnot.
Also on top of that, of course, paying for lessons, paying for ice time, full-time work, full-time study, all of those beautiful things. It can become so hard to focus on skating as an adult, and that's what I found, because it's not our main priority. And it's not like I have, you know, some kind of daddy warbucks or a daddy, period, to help me. We have other things that are more pressing that we have to prioritize a lot of the time. There isn't always someone to save the day for us, and we have to make a lot of big sacrifices so we can keep skating. There's a big responsibility element to it. We have to be responsible for ourselves to ensure we have enough money, we have organized ice time, we've paid for things, we have the right equipment, that our skates are sharpened and all of that jazz, and that we don't, on top of that, neglect other responsibilities. There are a lot of hard parts to being an adult skater, but I think the main upside to it is that because I know how much it takes to just be able to get onto the ice and skate, how much I have to prepare, organize, save up, sacrifice, I think that makes me 110% more determined to get what I want out of that session. So as an adult skater, you have a bit more clarity. This name is in Korean, so I can't read it. I'll just put it up on the screen. They ask, did you ever take a break from figure skating? Look, I have taken so many breaks from figure skating, I've just lost count. Work, other commitments, studies, injuries, just life gets in the way sometimes. Juliana asked, how long did it take for you to actually get your crossovers? I still think my crossovers need a lot of work, so I'm not gonna say that I've got them. I started them in my first few lessons when I started skating, and I think around the 4-month mark, that's when I started to become comfortable with them. I am still not fully comfortable with them, even after this long. Madison Pal asked, how did you get comfortable skating while you were learning? I'm 20 and I just started, and I feel embarrassed going to public skates sometimes because I'm alone and still learning how to move forward. Girl, I completely understand where you're coming from. There are still days where I feel really self-conscious on the ice, and when I doubt myself, that's when I end up making the most mistakes, and it stunts my progress more than anything else. Luckily, I have had my sister and a lot of supportive people at my rink. I think this definitely made me feel less embarrassed on the ice. I recommend making friends at the rink if you can. Every amazing skater out there, whether they're at my level, so the lower level, or ISU skaters, they all had to find their feet on the ice. And as many times as you see them landing clean jumps and executing perfect spins and footwork, they fell thousands of times trying to do that. And we're just seeing the success of years upon years of failure, hardship, and falling. Be kind to yourself and keep working towards your goals. Don't expect success quickly, but don't give up and trust in yourself a bit more. Two pretty similar questions from Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Haley Project. They're both sort of asking, how do you find the money to pay for your lessons? Ugh, yeah. Money issues are such a big part of skating, unfortunately. Especially when you've had to pay for these things on your own. While I was in university, I had 3 to 4 jobs to pay for my university studies, my just daily expenses, as well as skating. I feel for you guys so much because it's not easy to fund figure skating. There's a price tag for everything, essentially. Ice time, coaching, equipment, just transport, you name it, there's a price tag on it. And I think it's for this reason, in my opinion, that a lot of people are not allowed into the elite world of figure skating. And I think that really needs to change. On this quote, you're interrupting my accounting advice. I recommend creating a budget plan and saving on things that you don't need to spend on. Everyone's situation is different though, and I completely understand and respect that. So I apologize, I can't give you any more specific advice, but creating a plan and seeing what you're up against is usually a great way to come up with strategies to deal with funding figure skating. Kearney West asked, how much did you pay for the new ones, the new skates? I actually got a pretty good deal on them. They were about $400. To a normal person, that must sound ridiculously expensive, but for the Resport RF3 Pro stiffness and the fact that I got the blades thrown in with them, it was a very reasonable price. Okay, Luna Rose had a few questions. So the first one is, are there any particular things that motivate you? Any kind of progress is encouragement to me, so yeah. And seeing other skaters progress, like my sister, watching her get better motivates me to be better. What are your overall goals for skating? Right now, my goals are the axel, double jumps, and competing. How many competitions have you done if you've competed in any? I haven't yet competed. Best advice for skaters at different levels. My advice would be to keep working hard, don't expect success, and remind yourself often of how far you've come. Following on from that, Maron News and Dudley Newfie said, would you ever compete? Yes, I want to compete in the future. Hopefully by the end of the year, don't know. Emma Hallahan asked, what do you wish you had known when you first started skating? In my Learn to Skate episode 1 video, you'll get a pretty detailed answer on that. But essentially, I wish I'd known how important off-ice training was, how expensive skating becomes when you get to a certain level, and also I wish someone had told me that you really shouldn't be taking advice from people who don't want you to get better. So that's my advice to you. Fasira also had a few questions. So the first one is how you balance work and the ice. It's really hard to balance everything. There's no set formula to it, and sometimes I have to miss skating due to other commitments. I try to put all of my schedule into a calendar and into a diary, and I sort of make budget plans each week. That's sort of how I try to balance things. The next question was, what's your favorite episode/moment of Yuri on Ice? I love all of Yuri on Ice. I don't think I could choose a specific moment, but probably every time Yuri's free program music comes on, you know some inspirational shit is about to happen, so that usually gets me going. Last question, do you have a special diet? No. I don't think I'm committed enough to have a special diet, but I am trying to improve my water and fresh food intake. Have you ever hurt yourself really badly during this skating? I regularly hurt myself skating. My knees, my elbows,
My wrists, my shoulders, my lower back, my hips.
they're the main ones. I think that's every part of my body that I've just listed. Most of the falls happen from lack of experience, hesitation, or concentration lapses. The majority of my injuries are sort of soft tissue or strains. They're probably the two worst injuries I've had. One was my lower back. That was when your girl did one too many flying broken leg spins, and I got some serious low back pain. I couldn't sit for too long. I couldn't stand for too long, so I had to rehab that myself. The most recent one, which is why I had quite a break from skating since December last year, was my hip. So I sort of did something to the muscle tendons in my hip, and I've sort of slowly started to make my way back. I still have to rehab it, but sometimes it's just doing elements that have a high level of risk associated with them. Rigel M asks, can you and your boyfriend make a couple's figure skating routine? Okay, if you insist. I'll go and ask my boyfriend and we'll start choreographing soon. Get ready for the next Pairs Champions, guys. If that's a video you guys would like to see, by the way, let me know in the comments below. Josie8983 said, is it possible to learn some easy jumps, spins, turns, tricks without some kind of lessons? With the amount of resources out on the internet, especially YouTube, I think it's completely realistic to learn elements online. But I will say that there's a huge advantage to having a coach because they can sort of see bad habits before you can, and they can sort of give you tailored and specific feedback. Kawaii Gamer asked, do you have any ideas on when I should get my own skates? Technically, you can get skates as early as you want. It can only support your progress, to be honest, if they're right. Skates are a big investment, and that's highly dependent on your situation. I think it depends on how serious and committed you are to the sport, and how often you're gonna skate. Juby Boo, I think, Juby Boo. Simply Nerdy Rose asked, I've read about center of gravity and how jumps are harder for tall people, but I was wondering if you have any advice. I can understand how tall people have more difficulty with jumps simply because they have a higher center of gravity than a short person. But I have seen plenty of beautiful, beautiful skaters in the international circuit as well as just at my rink that have an amazing ability to show extension and execute elements very gracefully. At the end of the day, I guess, finding your balance points and learning to control the arms and legs, and that's every skater really, especially me, so I guess I probably shouldn't be giving advice on this. But my advice to you would be, don't focus too much on how your height is a disadvantage. Think of how you can use it to your advantage. Like, what edge do you have over shorter skaters that you can use? Gordon O says, would this work for pro hockey skates, which are very stiff? I really don't know if I can give any advice for hockey skates just because I don't have experience with them. Figure skates have a different structure and different features which will affect how you're going to skate. I imagine it'd be difficult to adapt that to hockey skates. Hallahan asked, FN said, can you tell me about balance, and does it take a really long time to have my balance, and what should I do to have balance? Don't worry, I didn't have any balance on the ice before I started training. So in my Learn to Skate video, I talk a little bit more about this. It took me more than 4 months to become somewhat comfortable on the ice. Funnily enough, the more I practiced, the better I got. Everything you're not comfortable with footwork wise, drill those, because that's how you're gonna get better. Joyce Wong said, I just watched a bunch of your videos and I'm super curious how you made progress so fast. How often do you practice and what does your routine look like? I feel like I was always really ineffective about it. I practiced, for the first year and a bit, I practiced once a week. So I had group lessons and it was sort of a 45-minute group lesson and then 2 hours of just skating. You could do whatever. And around 6 months in, I started taking private lessons. My routine, I don't exercise nearly as much as I should. I would go skating once a week and probably have 1 or 2 sessions where I do either off ice or sort of gym training or a mix of cardio and strength. But lately I've been ineffective about it myself. So I have a couple of off-ice videos. You can have a look at what I do for my off-ice down there. Cindy Nix asked, how do you ensure that the public sessions are sparse? It's sometimes a hit and miss. Sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's not. But I think because this is Melbourne and it only has a few rinks and the population of skaters isn't that big, I think it's just luck sometimes. Alrighty guys, there you have it. That's the Q&A. I hope I've answered all of the questions. If I've missed any, just let me know and I'll try and answer them in the comments below. If you have more questions, feel free to ask them. You can message me on Instagram via DM. You can comment on there, or you could comment on this video or my community tab. It's up to you, and I will try and put them in my next Q&A video.